Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Bava Kamma Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, 63a1. We were just speaking about the entire concept. Remember that we just started the Perek yesterday, and we were talking about something which is not Davar She'eni V'latom Etameh B'magav Masa, because it's, one of them is a Klal Ufrat, each one is being Duresh on its own, but Ofot, right, which are birds, which their Nivela are not Metameh B'magav Masa. He said, what? You're not going to say that, which means that Tashlume Kefel is going to be noheg on everything. When do you pay Kefel? Kefel is paying double. You will pay double on everything. In Ken, if so, Nichtov Rachman Achad Prata. The Torah should write down one prat of Balei Chayim, whether it's shor, chamor, se, something. V'hai Nichtov Rachmana. Which one are you going to write? Ikatav Rachmana shor, if it's going to be written the shor. Hava mina karev legabe mizbeach, because I would have thought to say that it's going to be brought to the mizbeach in. But if it's not karev mizbeach, no, which means it is. If you only wrote down shor, a shor is an ox is brought to the mizbeach. So that's the only thing that it's going to be like that. V'ikatav rachmana chamor, if it was only going to be written the chamor, hava mina kadosh b'chora in. If it's going to be kadosh b'chora, yes. Shen kadosh b'chora, no. If it's not going to be kadosh b'chora, no. Yeah. So Amri, so we said in Kenef, so Nichtov Rachmana Shor V'Chamor Se Lamali. So he says, so write down Shor V'Chamor. Why do you need the Se? Shema Mina comes to teach you Latuye Ofot, to include the Ofot. Okay, which means that to include birds. So ask the Gemara, Ve'ema Latuye Ofot Tehorim Dumya Dese. Why didn't I just say that this comes to include, right, Ofot Tehorim, which is exactly like the Se. Temetame Begadim, that it is going to be Metame Begadim, but only by bet abliya. Aval ofot, but ofot, tmeim. Telet behu tum'ah, that does not have tum'ah. Yeah, so he comes and he says, the lo metameh begadim bet abliya, that the nivela is not going to be metameh adam begadim bet abliya. I would say that it's not going to be like that. You're not going to add it in. So that's why he comes and he says the word kol is a ribuya. The word kol is a ribui. What does it mean a ribui? It's adding in. Al kol davar pesha. So when it says Al Kol Davar Pesha, it's coming to add in that Tashlume Kefel is with everything. So you have to pay Tashlume Kefel on everything. That's what you learn from the word Kol. You know what Tashlume Kefel is? Paying double. So you have to pay double on everything. Okay? Makes sense. Okay. So says the Gemara, Dechol Hecha Dekatav Kol Ribuyahu. Are you going to tell me that any single time that it's written the word Kol, it's a Ribui? It's coming to include. It's written by Maaser Kol, right? It says over there, Ichtiv Kol, Vedarshinan, and we're going to be Doresh, right? Bichlal Ufrat. The time is we learned in the Braita. When it says that you're going to give the money with everything which you want, it's a klal. It's a general rule. Babakar uvatzon uvayayin uvashechar. When it says bakar, tzon, yain, shechar, it's a prat. It's a specific. And anything which you're going to ask, Chazar v'klal. Klal ufrat uchlal. E'atadan ela kena perat. He says when it's a klal ufrat uchlal, we're going to judge it like the prat. Just like the prat is going to be mefurash, that it's a pri. It has to be one fruit from another fruit, meaning something that comes from something else. And it's gidule karka, it grows from the ground. Afkol is pri gidule karka, which means maaser sheni from the word kol is teaching you a klal ufrat uchlal, and it's not a ribui. One more time, if you say it's a ribui, it comes to include everything. If you say klal ufrat uchlal, it's en baklal alamasha beprat. So I have to zoom into the prat, and that way, since it's going to be gidule karka and pri, maaser sheni is only gidule karka. That means the word kol is not adding everything just like that. It's a klal ufrat uchlal. Okay, makes sense. So he comes now and he says like this. He says, right? Amri, we said. Amri, right? We said. Bechol is a klal. Kol is a ribui. Meaning, if it says the word just kol, every time that it says the word kol, it's including something. When it says bechol, that's a klal. That's a generalization. So therefore, there's a difference between kol and bechol. Okay, that's what we're saying. Okay? If you want, you can answer another answer. Kol is a klalahu. Miu, kol Dehacha is a ribuyahu, right? He says usually sometimes the word kol is a klal, but sometimes the word kol is actually a ribui. Michti ktiv meikara, but at the beginning it says klal ufrat uchlal. Dichtiv ki iteni shel reu klal. Kesef uchelin prat. Lishmor klal. Now, Visa, if you're going to tell me now that this word al kol davar pesha is also klal ufrat udeata, nichtov rachman lani prate gabehayich klal ufrat. Al kol davar pesha lamali. So why do we need this then? Al kol davar pesha. Meaning, if you already have a klal ufrat uchlal, why do I have another klal afterwards? It doesn't make sense. So the fact that I have another kol afterwards, it's a ribuya. It's coming to include. Okay, fine. So hashta de amarta. Now that you just told me kol is a ribuya, so kol ani prati lamali. So why do we have all these pratim? So he says chal lemiute karka, echal lemiute avadim, echal lemiute shtarot. He says one of them is to exclude karka, one of them is to exclude avadim, and one of them is to exclude shtarot. Okay? The salma is lemiut devar sheno mesuyam. That means you have no siman. Al kol aveda is Rabbi Bar Avin. So he says, Rabbi Bar Avin Yochanan hatoen ta'anat ganav. If you're going to say ta'anat ganav, right? Ba'aveda, samech gimel ubet 63b. If you're going to say it ba'aveda, meshalem tashlume kefel. You're going to have to pay tashlume kefel. Shneimar, but it says in a pasuk, al kol aveda asher yomar. On any aveda which you're going to say, right? So it's mashma the din that this din is noheg even ba'aveda. Okay, fine. Tanan hata, right? We learned over there. Yeah, he says like this. We learned over there. Hechan pigdoni. Imagine somebody comes and he says, "No, I gave you a collateral. Where is it?" So he says, "Elmaleh avad, it got lost." Mashbiachani, right? So he's going to make him swear. Amar amen. He says, "Yes, amen." Now witnesses come and they say, "What are you talking about? It was lost. He ate it." Mishalem et hakeren. He has to pay the keren to the baalim. Ve'oda al pi atzmo. If he's going to be modeh al pi atzmo, right before the din come, so then mishalem keren vechomesh. Okay.
He pays more.
He pays the fifth also as well, and a korban hasham. Okay, which means that in the first case,
What could that be?
he says because he's not going to be chayav kefel only with twen tanat ganav. Here he's not twen tanat ganav. He's saying that it was lost, so it's not twen tanat. Meaning, if he would have said that it was stolen, so he would have paid kefel. The fact that he says now that, so he doesn't pay kefel, so he only pays the keren. So the Gemara now says another case. Echan pikdoni, where's my pikadon? Amar lo nignav, it was stolen. So now Mashbiachani, he tells him to swear. He swears edim edim that he himself stole it. So here he does have to pay Mishalem Tashum Kefel, right? He does have to pay Kefel. Why? To entana ganav, he's chayav Kefel. Hoda me'atzmo, if he admits on his own that he was the one that stole it before the witnesses came, here he doesn't pay Kefel anymore. Mishalem keren v'chomesh v'asham. Again, the same thing. He pays the keren v'chomesh and the asham. So remember, here the chomesh is only 1/5. It's not double, right? Kefel is much more than 1/5, right? So here he adds the 1/5 and the korban because of the shavua, but he was oda, so that's why he doesn't have to pay the kefel.
What's the difference between this one and the other one?
The other one was not twen tanat ganav. So when you're not twen tanat ganav and you just said that it got lost, you don't pay kefel. If you twen tanat ganav, you pay kefel. So that was the difference in the previous case and this case. The previous case, you just said it got lost. He tells you swear, he swore. So now he was the one that did it. So he obviously has to pay the keren. So now if he has to pay keren chomesh and the korban hasham because of the shavua. But if he was oda beforehand, right? That's what happens. Sorry, if he's oda beforehand. Now he comes and he says, right? If right now he says nignav, so now it's much worse because now he has to pay kefel as well. Because you have to pay kefel by 20 tanat ganav. Okay, Ketani miyad, but we did learn the 20 tanat ganav, the meshalim tashlume kefel. But 20 tanat avad, lo meshalim tashlume kefel. Va'afilu be-20 tanat ganav b'shavua, even if you were 20 tanat ganav by a shavua, you still pay kefel. Aval shelo b'shavua, eno meshalim tashlume. So it's mashma that what happens if you do not swear? Meaning the case that we just brought you down was that he told him, do you swear that it was stolen? He says, yes. What happens if you didn't swear? Meaning, he never made you to swear. So do you still have to pay kefil? That's the question.
You have to pay chomesh.
Obviously, you wouldn't pay the chomesh and the shavua, but the question is, do you have to pay the kefil? Because maybe kefil is only if you swore. That's what we're trying to find out. So says the Gemara,
Shua is worse or less?
Shavua is worse. The question is, even if you do not do a shavua, would you pay tanat kefil or not? Would you pay the kefil? That's the question.
What's worse?
No,
anything or a shavua?
No, the shavua we said you're swearing falsely.
So what are you swearing on? You're swearing on Hashem's name or something like that?
Of course. Okay, the Tana Rabbanan, but we learned in a Braita. Imi maseh ganav betoen tanat ganav bekatuv medaber. Ata omer betoen tanat ganav or beganav atzmo. Are you talking about toen tanat ganav or he actually stole it? As keshu omer im lo yimatzeh ganav, right? Obviously, we're talking about toen tanat ganav bekatuv medaber. We're talking about toen tanat, which means like this. There's two things. One case is a person that steals. He's a ganav. Another case is toen tanat ganav. Toen tanat ganav means you didn't steal outright. Somebody comes to you and he says, can you watch this for me? You say, yes. You keep it by you. I come and ask you, by the way, can you give it back to me? I was stolen. That's to'en ta'anat ganav. Right? It's true, you did steal it, but you didn't just come up right and just steal something. I gave it to you to watch over, and then when I asked you, give it back to you, you say, it was stolen. That's to'en ta'anat ganav. So there's two different cases. Okay? So Tanya Idach, there's another explanation in the Pasuk. Imi maseh ganav, beganav atzmo k'tuv medaber. When it says imi maseh ganav, we're talking about the ganav atzmo. So ata omer, are you going to tell me now we're talking about the ganav atzmo, or maybe to'en tanat ganav? As keshu omer, when he says im lo yimatzeh ganav, so are to'en tanat ganav. He's already talking about tanat ganav, right? Amani mekayem imi matzeh ganav. So what are you talking about then? Imi matzeh ganav, the ganav atzmo k'tuv medaber. We're talking about the ganav himself. Okay, dechule alma miyat, because everybody agrees. Im lo yimatzeh ganav, that when it's written in the pasuk that if you're not going to find the ganav, the to'en tanat ganav k'tiv. How do you know? Meaning like this. There it says, if you're not going to find the ganav, he's going to go ela elokim, which means he's going to go to Bedin and they're going to make him swear. So the question is, how do we know that there we're talking about to'en tanat ganav? Amar Rava says, im lo yimatzeh kema she'amar, right, is exactly like what you said. Ela shehu atzmo ganavo. He himself stole it. And then you're going to go to the Bedin, and then they're going to come, and you have to make a swear whether he actually did take it or not. Yeshalem shnaim l'reu. There he's going to have to pay shnaim l'reu. So says the Gemara, umenalan de v'shvua. How do you know that there we're talking about v'nikra balabait? It's talking about a shvua. So it says the Tanya, when it says v'nikra balabait elo Elohim, the shvua. Ata omer l'shvua en eladin. How do you know that shvua? Maybe it's only you're going to a Bedin. So ne'emar shlichut yad lemata, v'ne'emar shlichut yad lemana. It's a gzera shava. It says shlichut yad. Because it says Shavuat Hashem tiyeh ben shnehem. There's going to be a Shavua between both of them. Im lo shalach yado b'mlechet reu. If he didn't touch it. And then it says Shlichut yad lemala, where it says Im lo shalach yado b'mlechet reu. Male halan, just like over there we're talking about Shavua. So to you we're talking about Shavua. So Bishma Mandamar, it's good according to the Mandamar. Chad beganav v'chad beto'en tanat ganav. I understand one of them is a ganav. And one of them is to'en tanat ganav. Hainu dichtiv, that's why it's written Trekrai, two different psukim. But according to the Mandamar Tarvayu, we're talking about both of them. The to'en tanat ganav, Trekrai, why do I need two different psukim? Why do I need two different psukim? So Amri, so we said, Chad lemiyute tanat avad. One of them is coming to exclude tanat avad, if it was lost. Okay? That means basically if he's going to be to'en, right, that the pikadon was lost, and they testified about it, he's going to be patur from kefel even if he swore on ta'anato. Okay? Ulman da'amar, and according to the man da'amar, chad beganav v'chad beto'en tanat ganav. That one we're talking about a ganav, and one of them is to'en tanat ganav. De lo miyater, right? That it's not going to be extra. Lemiyute tanat avad menale. How do you know that we're talking about now, right? To'en tanat avad. So says the Gemara, miganav haganav, with the fact that it says haganav. There's hey yediyah. What does that mean? Im lo yimatzeh haganav. Why is that extra? That extra haganav is teaching you that there's no kefel only by to'en tanat ganav and not by to'en tanat avad. One more time. The fact that you have an extra hey, im yimatzeh haganav, im yimatzeh ganav. What is haganav? The extra hay is teaching you that you only get the kefel when it's 20 tanat ganav, not 20 tanat avad. 20 tanat avad just means that you just said it was lost. 20 tanat ganav is that you say it was stolen. So man da'amar, but according to the man da'amar tarvayu, that you have to actually pay for both of them kefil. The 20 tanat ganav, ayed dimiet lay 20 tanat avad ganav haganav my darsha. What does he do with haganav, the extra hay? Amar lecha, he says you need it for Rabbi Chia bar Abba and Rabbi Yochanan. Ta'amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba and Rabbi Yochanan. Ha 20 tanat ganav bepikadon. If you're going to be 20 tanat ganav by a pikadon, you're going to pay tashlume kefil. Tavachu machar, if you slaughter and sell it, you're going to pay tashlume arba'a v'chamisha. So therefore, it actually comes out that he says, if you're going to be 20 tanat ganav bepikadon, you have to be careful. And if you actually sell or slaughter it, you have to pay arba'a v'chamisha. So that they learn from haganav. Okay, that's what they're learning from haganav. Okay, that you have to pay 4 and 5
times.
Yes, only for short vaseh, but it's the same halacha applies. Okay, which means that it doesn't only apply when you steal. Even if you're 20 tanat ganav, you still have to pay 4 and 5 as well.
Because then you don't have the opportunity to give it back. Is that why?
No.
Why would it be more?
The Torah says that if a person steals, he has to pay back double. If he slaughters or sells it, he has to pay back 4 or 5 times. So the Torah was only talking about in a ganav atzmo. What about 20 tanat ganav? So until now, we always learn 20 tanat ganav is patur on 4 and 5. He only has to pay kefer, double. Now, Rabbi Yochanan is coming and saying from the extra hay, that even by 20 tanat ganav, you're also going to be chayav 4 and 5. Okay? So leman da'amar, according to the man da'amar, chad beganav v'chad be 20 tanat ganav, ta'ay ganav, haganav, okay, he learns it in miyut tanat avad. So it's coming to exclude avad. Rabbi Chia bar Abba menal. So how does he know now Rabbi Chia bar Abba? Samalecha, it's a hekesh. People like to do hekesh. Moavim la'akish. Davar echad lashani. She'em meshivin el hekesh. You don't ask a question on the hekesh. Mediu. You can't ask a question on the hekesh. Okay? Fine. Bishlam al mandamar. This is good according to the mandamar. Chad beganav v'chad be 20 tanat ganav shapid. That's good according to the mandamar that he says one of them is talking about a ganav and one of them is talking about 20 tanat ganav. So then it's going to be okay. But according to the mandamar tarvayu, which we're talking about, the 2 psukim are talking about 20 tanat ganav atzmo menale. How do we know ganav himself? How do we know that he's going to pay kefen? Now, if you're going to tell me, let it be kavachomer, learn it from a kavachomer. So he says, me 20 tanat ganav. He says, dayo lavo min adin liot kanidon. You cannot be stricter than the kalvachomer. Just like over there, it's a shvuah. So it's over here, it's going to be a shvuah, which means like this. The klal of dayo is that you cannot be more strict from that which you're learning it from. So for example, I'm learning A from B. And how are you learning it? From a kal v'chomer. I cannot be then more strict than that which I'm learning it from. Because if you're learning it from there, I have to be exactly like that because of a kal v'chomer. But I can be more strict. So that's explanation dayo. Dai is dai. It's enough. Dayo lavo min adin liot kanidon. It's already enough to come to the judgment to be like the one that's being judged. I cannot come and learn from it, but then I'm going to be more strict. It just doesn't work. You can't do that. No, לא יותר מקל, זה יכול להיות אותו דבר, אבל לא יכול להיות, זה לממשוס, אבל לא יכול להיות יותר חמור. זה דיו. אוקיי? זה נפקלה.
לא, אבל יותר קל.
יכול להיות יותר קל, או אותו דבר, ולא יותר חמור. So he says נפקלה, it could be יותר קל, but it cannot be יותר חמור. It cannot be יותר חמור. So he says נפקלה. Nafkale, they learn it out from Tanat ve'Chizkiah. The Tanat ve'Chizkiah, when it says Yomar Shor u'Gneva ve'Akol Bichlal, it should say Im imatze timatze biyado Gneva mishor, right? Ad chamor, ad se chayim, shenayim yishalem. Yomar Shor u'Gneva ve'Akol Bichlal. Ilu kach hayitin omer. If I would have said that, ma prat mefurash karev legabe mizbeach, av kol karev mizbeach. Ma yesh lecha laviseh. Basically, 1 second. If you're going to tell me now that there's like a klal, right? Everything's in the klal. I'm going to say that it has to be something which is brought on the Mizbeach, which is the shore. So why do I bring a say? Now, I already brought down there the shore, and I brought down the chamor. Chamor is not brought on the Mizbeach. but the shore is, and the seh is. So why do I have to bring down the seh? The seh, the sheep, is already, I already know a sheep, because the shore is already brought on the Mizbeach. So why do I need then the seh? As Keshu Omer seh, se'amur, it's already brought down. So mani mekayim, right? So what do I need then from the word geneva? The Rabbo kol davar. Anything, you're going to be chayav. Kol davar metaltel, begufo mamon, you're going to be chayav. That's actually what's going to be brought down.